Hello, I'm Ray, and I'm going to be going over bone histology with you. To start off, we have a long bone here, and the end of it is covered with articular cartilage. Up here, we have the epiphysis, and down here we have the diaphysis. The diaphysis is covered with periosteum, which goes around the bone. Down here is the medullary cavity, which contains the yellow bone marrow. If we look over here, we have an example of the histology of the bone. These little lines are called canaliculi. And then we've got the little holes here are lacuna, and osteocytes live in the lacuna. The lacuna are formed in rings called lamella. These rings are centered around a central or Haversine canal where blood vessels run through. Each set of rings is called an osteon. And then looking at this model here, you can still see we've got the osteons, we've got the periosteum, which goes on the outside of the bone, that is connected to the bone by these Sharpei fibers, these blue little lines there. Running through the bone are these perforating canals, which connect the blood vessels from each osteon together. And then on this surface, we have the endosteum, which lines the inside of the bone on the inside of the medullary canal. We've got compact bone here, which is made up of osteons, and then spongy bone here, which is made up of trabecula. And then within the spongy bone, there is red bone marrow. Looking at this image here, we have the epiphyseal plate. On the left, this is where the bone is still young and growing, and also known as the growth plate. And on the right, we have the epiphyseal line. This is where the bone has stopped growing, and this separates the epiphyseum from the diaphyseum. Taking a closer look at the synovial joint, we have articular cartilage on either end of the bone. And then not pictured here is the articular disc, which is a piece of cartilage that goes in between the two bones, such as meniscus. We have a bursa on the side here. The joint capsule that goes around here. And then the joint cavity, which is in between the two bones. A ligament on this side, which connects bone to bone, versus a tendon over here, which connects muscle to bone. This entire joint is synovial joint, and inside the joint capsule is synovial fluid. And the capsule is lined with a synovial membrane. Finally, I'll be going over bone types and joint types. So first, we have our long bones, which are anything that is longer than it is wide and is normally found in the upper and lower extremities. We have our flat bones, which are like the ribs and the skull, and those are just flat instead of circular. We have our short bones, which are as short as they are wide, normally cube-shaped, such as in your wrists. And then we have our irregular bones, which have just an irregular shape, such as our vertebrae and our hips. Moving on to joint types, we have 3 different types of joints. We have our fibrous joints. These are the ones that you wouldn't think of as a joint. There's not a lot of movement involved. Then we have our cartilaginous joints, which are connected by cartilage and don't move a lot, but they still do move, such as our rib cage and here on our pelvis. And then we have our standard synovial joints, which bend in the ways you think, like our elbows, hips, knees, and shoulders.